Would you like to hear something? O Ninja Negro. O Ninja Negro. O Ninja Negro. Anyway, remember that hack?
That unforgettable abomination with no midpoints, atrocious graphics, unfair bosses, and that kick-in-the-balls route to the secret ending?
It's being remade. Remade! What could that mean? Honestly, there's no way to tell. Is it gonna be better, or is that bastard just making it harder for old time's sake? I do know one thing, though, and that's that I am going to be stuck playing it. There's just no way around it. Oh, and also, holy hell, O Ninja Negro being remade. What the fuck? And that's not even the only development that's just come out of the woodwork.
Now there's another Alex Kidd hack out there. Yeah, not made by you-know-who, but still. I haven't had the chance to play it yet, but it does not look promising.
And again, I'm going to be chased with torches and pitchforks if I don't play it. It's just a fact. What's going on? Are these the end times? No, it's the C3. These past few weeks have seen the Central blow up into a madhouse, all because of one little event, the C3. That's the Central Creativity Convention for any imbecile or SMW Archives user out there who doesn't happen to know. And it's probably the biggest event in the hacking universe. It's where hackers of all shapes and sizes and nationalities and planets of origin come together to show off their biggest, baddest projects that they've been working on in secret. And some of the stuff that goes on there is awesome. Another huge part of the stuff that goes on there, not so much. You can guess which part it's my job to cover.
One of the first hacks that caught my eye during C3 was an oddball original hack called Allycia Legends The Evil Darmalette. Wow, that's a mouthful. It struck me for three main reasons. One, it had a badass original female protagonist called Allycia. Two, it was built around a dark, brooding aesthetic that seemed to be well tied together. And three, it was based on the Castlevania series and claimed to borrow elements of its gameplay, like the whip and the dagger.
Among scores of other forgettable vanillas, this one stood out from the crowd. Stood out like a sore thumb. Which is too bad, because it was a sore thumb.
On the title screen, you're greeted by Cousin It, and then it's time for an intro cutscene. Or should I say, intro level with big letters. This doesn't count as a cutscene in anyone's book. Not when you need to run back and forth like a dog chasing its own tail just to read that huge-ass text. Even Holly and Lolita World was above that, and that's saying something. Of course, we get our story here. Believe it or not, this dark, doomy hack is set in the Mushroom Kingdom. Long before Mario's time, the kingdom was cursed by a vampire woman named Darmalette Doolb. Doolb? As far as I can concern, Doolb is the sound an Adventure Time character would make being punched in the back of the neck with a mouthful of drool. No, I do realize it's blood spelled backwards, but still, how much goofier can you get than that? Speaking of weird, Allycia does not look right. That long neck and crushed head kinda reminds me of E.T. or Ed from Ed, Edd and Eddy. But the weirdest thing is, when you're choosing a stage, it's not even her. You're moving a bat around. I don't think this game said anything about your character turning into a bat. I thought the bad guy was the vampire here. The level design in this game is either hit or miss. Mostly miss. The first stage is one of the shortest I've ever played. Oh wait, the earthquake already? Oh, that means something big's coming. Something big's coming! Oh, nothing. You make your way through a small overworld before reaching the big one, which details the vampire's castle. It's not the most impressive display of original graphics I've ever seen, but it gets points for effort. It's also really the only part of this game that channels Castlevania to the core. Everything else, well, not so much. Remember how they promised a whip and the dagger as weapons? Well, those are the fire flower and cape replacements. You basically throw daggers straight out like a typical projectile. That gets a pass. What bothers me is the whip. It's technically the cape feather, so what you're actually getting is sort of a cape-whip combo. You have all the cape abilities, but when you spin, that's when you use the whip. And therein lies my complaint. That's the whip? That tiny little thing you have to whirl around like a drunk just to use? That is definitely not what I think of when I imagine a Castlevania whip. Guess it was just wishful thinking on my part to imagine this clearly inexperienced hacker coding in an all-new whip power-up. But here's my final 2 cents. If you promise a whip and this is how you deliver, then you're better off just leaving it as a cape. Worse still, even when you don't have the whip, the graphics for it still appear when you're walking, just flashing in and out of existence. Now, when it comes to this being a Castlevania-inspired game, here's my other principal complaint. All of the enemies, not even most of the enemies, I mean all of them, are straight out of Mario. I'm talking Koopas and Goombas and shit. When we do get custom sprites, well, I think they speak for themselves. I know this is supposed to be set in the Mushroom Kingdom, but did that evil vampire really have no other options for troops? They feel more out of place than polar bears in the desert. Compare them to the scenery and decorations he put in this hack. Huge, realistic statues of angels and demons and hellhounds. Look at that thing. Looks intimidating, doesn't it? Oh, well, too bad. What you're actually fighting is a hammer bro. Alright, time for a boss fight. This has to be promising. Wait, what? A fucking Goomba? The next ones are 2 big hammer bros and then a Lakitu. The author has given no indication that these are placeholders either, so as far as we know, they're here to stay. Why is that? Could you picture a vampire killer fighting any of these fuckers? What a joke. The only boss, nay, the only enemy to be found in this game that remotely fits the atmosphere is a knight, which is just that Kirby boss, the same one that the May and Titan from K16 were based off. Which begs the question, if he was willing to make up one decent boss, why couldn't he have made all the bosses like this? And I must mention, to get to each of these fights, you have to go through a Yoshi door in the middle of this dark-ass castle. That's the evil entrance to the boss stage? I think the boss doors from Super Mario World were more intimidating than that. But here, in the middle of all this, that? Look at this background. Listen to this music. This damn thing is like a rainbow clown standing in the middle of Auschwitz. Wanna know something else weird? After a certain point, no single stage has a name. That's probably because they display the names in these intro scenes, but still, it's strange to stand here on the overworld and not know what I'm getting into at all. When they do have names, most times they're pretty, direct. Prison to torture foes. Now there's a name that doesn't leave anything to the imagination. You just gotta know what that prison's for, don't ya? How about a Mario castle called Big Fortress where I keep a Yoshi egg I stole and also a bunch of troops? Here's my favorite. Weaponry of Trap. Yeah, this guy's English could use some work. But back to the gameplay itself. Forgetting all the horrific presentation choices and judging the hack on nothing but its design and fun factor, it still sucks. You surprised? The way you unlock new stages is unusual. The way it seems, beating a stage will unlock you 2 new ones almost as often as it'll only unlock you 1. After a while, not knowing which to play next gets confusing as hell. And another thing, it's not much to complain about, but holy hell this game is generous. You'll get what's essentially a free top-secret area surprisingly early in the game. And 3-up moons, those are given away like candy on Halloween. It can be as simple as backtracking a little bit with a P-switch to get one, or just going the wrong way and stumbling upon it. Well, here you go, 3 whole extra lives! The level design choices are not much to write home about. For one, this dude is Spike happy. Secondly, he's one of those hackers who has a little too much fun with the effect tool. Get a load of this. The darkness in this cave stage is blocking out the status bar. I can't see how much health I have. I can't see my score. I can't see shit. Was the extra aesthetic bonus of a black gradient really that important to this stage? Get rid of it! And speaking of this stage, yeah, listen to that music. It's that reggae song, the same one from Sky Goes to Town. Not only is it completely unfitting in this dark bat cave, but it doesn't sound like any other musical choice in the game. You really might as well just have Michael Jackson playing here, like that level in K16. There are a few more trends I've noticed. The way this game uses horizontal thwomps is grade A bullshit. Most times they're placed in such a way that you either can't tell they go horizontally or you don't even see them coming until it's too late. Bottom line, these fuckers get me every single time. Another big problem is sprites hiding behind the background. Look here, you don't see the torpedo teds until they've been launched, so you're basically contending with an enemy you can't tell is there. And here, there's a saw behind this pyramid, see it? If you're unlucky enough to approach the door without seeing the saw first, you'll be taking a nosedive into death. A big design element this hack relies on is finding switches in order to pass certain stages. The hacker's way of making sure you can't cheat your way through is a gigantic muncher run. When you do have the switch, it takes forever just to move past this area. I can understand that with that added health, they wanted to make extra sure you couldn't just take hits and make it, but did it really need to be this long? I'm reminded of Desert Bus. No hack should go there. None. And the crowning jewel of oddities in this hack is this stage. Allycia encounters a mysterious painting and decides to jump inside. What is this, Super Mario 64? Fittingly enough, the whole level just looks like something out of Mario. It's a complete break of character, and I don't see why it exists. This hack is just a demo, so it's over before you know it, but oh does it leave an impression. You know what else leaves an impression? A hammer to the forehead. So I leave you now with Alicia's swim frames. Almost forgot to mention those. Here, you wanna see? Check it. I'm sorry. I can't look at that ridiculous pose without losing my shit. It's like a cheerleader in space. She looks like she doesn't even know how to swim, so she's just flailing in the water. Oh no.